Oyster omelette. Netizen 1. Making oyster omelette at home is simple and easy. This classic Asian dish features juicy oysters, fresh or frozen, fluffy eggs, and a crispy crust made from potato starch. With just a few simple pantry ingredients, you can create a satisfying lunch or snack in no time. As an avid lover of oyster omelette, or omelette, I've had the pleasure of trying various styles from many Asian countries. Each unique variation offers its own distinct flavor and texture, making it impossible to choose a favorite. But no matter where I go, I always find myself drawn to the delicious combination of juicy oysters, fluffy eggs, and crispy crust. There's just something about the interplay of flavors and textures that makes this dish irresistible. Netizen 2. I've been fortunate enough to try various oyster omelette dishes during my travels across Asia. While each country has its twist on this popular dish, they all feature plump, juicy oysters bursting with umami flavor. I remember living in Taiwan and often going to the local market to sample their crispy oyster omelette. It was made with sweet potato starch, which gave it that extra crunch, and was always served with a sweet and sour sauce that perfectly complemented the dish. In Malaysia and Singapore, I had the pleasure of trying the ochian, or ORH look version. The texture of the omelette was unique, thanks to the tapioca starch and rice flour, and the hawker-style version was an absolute delight. Thailand's version, hoi tod, is also a street food staple, often made with mussels and crunchy bean sprouts. And then there was the Korean-style oyster omelette, a crispy pancake base mixed with plump oysters and served with a tangy soy sauce. On the other hand, the Japanese-style kaki furai consists of deep-fried oysters breaded with panko crumbs. I enjoyed trying each country's unique take on this classic Asian dish, and discovering new flavors and textures. It's amazing how one dish can bring back so many wonderful memories. Netizen 3. I didn't taste my first Taiwanese oyster omelette, a Taiwanese street food classic, in Taipei. Sadly, I've never been there. My first encounter with this extraordinary dish occurred in a frantic underground corridor in the New York subway system. Passing a small stall, I watched a chef toss oysters with eggs, add a sweet ketchup sauce, and flip it onto a paper plate. It seemed so incongruous in that setting that I simply had to try. It was love at first bite. I was enchanted by the way the softness of the eggs danced up against the deliciously briny slipperiness of oysters. But what made the oyster omelette so special was the way the oysters and eggs were swept away by a mysterious and deliciously sticky substance. It was like a musical composition, each note different, and I found myself taking one bite, and then another as I tried to tease out the flavors. I couldn't stop thinking about that dish, and I found myself dredging up excuses to use that particular subway. But one day, as I sat in that frenzied airless space with busy commuters hurtling past me, it hit me that I'd much prefer eating in the quiet of my own kitchen. But what was the mystery substance? It turns out that the secret ingredient is sweet potato starch, one of the staples of the Taiwanese kitchen. It adds a wonderful textural note to the omelette, and I've loved playing around with it in this recipe. I also discovered that this wonderful combination of flavors tastes even better made with small, freshly shucked oysters. If you want to save a little time, instead of making your own, you can pick up some sweet chili sauce from your local Asian market. There are dozens of brands. My recipe is really easy and makes more than you need, but it keeps forever in the refrigerator. Netizen 4. When you have leftover fresh or frozen oysters, it's always a good idea to blanch them and make them into an easy, healthy, and delicious oyster omelette. By the way, oysters are a rich source of zinc, and zinc can raise testosterone levels in sperm production. It could be a great dish for couples who are planning for a baby. Netizen 5. I love ORH a lot. This hawker fried oyster omelette is one of the versions I've tried at Singapore Hawker Center. It is made with a thin layer of batter. The eggs and oysters are then cooked with the batter to give you that crispy edges and gooey texture. It's kinda weird description for an omelette, but trust me, it's good.